Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nara and here we're discussing all things astrology, spirituality, and this video is about Pisces in the 4th house or Neptune in the 4th or IC. So the 4th house represents home and family. It's also a karmic house. It belongs naturally to the sign of Cancer, and that's why we know that Cancers are home bodies. And you know, having Pisces in the 4th is similar to having Cancer in the 4th in a way that it creates that environment in your house that is very warm, very emotional, very dreamy like. So it also shows us how you grew up and in what kind of environment you were brought up, and also gives us the insights about the dynamic of your parents and also family members and also ancestors. It's a karmic house because it's related to our ancestors, to our foundation, where we come from. And why is it karmic? Because we acquire those beliefs, right, from our family, and then they're karmic, and we're fulfilling those beliefs through our life experiences when we get older. So Pisces in the 4th house, or Neptune in the 4th rather too, this placement shows us that when you were growing up as a child, you had a very cozy and comfortable emotional environment, empathetic environment in your house, and all of the household members had a very strong emotional connection with one another. This placement also shows us that you feel very, very relaxed in your home, and you may not even live with your parents anymore, or that household you were brought up in, you may be living in a completely different country like myself. But that feeling of creating that cozy and warm environment, relaxing environment, it will be haunting you wherever you go. So even if you rent a house, you'll be constantly drawn to create that warm environment so that you feel comfortable, because this is something that reminds you of your childhood and you're unconsciously drawn to it. Also with this placement, people may prefer live by the sea or ocean. They are drawn to water. Actually, me too. I really want to live by the beach, and this is something I'm working on right now. So yeah, these people feel very rejuvenated when they're in their house, and they actually love to stay at home. But if we are to look at this placement from a perspective, living, like for instance working from home, this is not a good placement. These people can't really focus much. They can't get shit done because they constantly need to relax, because the home environment reminds them of relaxation. And imagine doing some type of work. They want to escape into relaxing nature. They want to lay down. They want to do something else, and that's why this placement can show us that a person is lazy when it comes to like getting a work done from home. So with these people, this is my placement too. I love working from home, but honestly, sometimes that relaxing nature, the yearning towards the relaxation in my house is impeding my work progress. So I have to be I have to remind myself constantly why I'm doing what I'm doing, the meaning behind my career choice, so that I keep doing it. And also with these people, if you are one of those who are struggling to stay disciplined and get the work done, you need to go somewhere else. You need to travel somewhere else, drive somewhere else, go into your 10th house, okay, and travel somewhere where you are drawn to based on what zodiac sign you have there. So for instance, mine is in Cancer, so actually it's I know it's hard for me to focus at home, but just because it's in Cancer, the 10th house, I get inspired from my home and environment, that warmth. I get inspired more to produce the content, for instance, because I'm a content creator, right? And also when I go out, I don't think I can focus outside. You know, some people, they go to the cafe or a coffee shop. I personally will never be able to focus there. So I need to constantly remind myself of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and only then I'm able to focus. So this is something to do for you as well if you have this placement. Remind yourself of the meaning behind your work, and it will be easier for you to focus, or try to go somewhere else. Like if a coffee shop works for you, change your location, because you'll see the biggest difference in your productivity levels. People may also be, Neptune in the fourth. This is my placement. These people may remember their childhood as something that reminds them of like the happy days. But the danger with this placement may be that you had such a great childhood with like kids in the playground. This is me. Nice family, who are respecting one another, who don't cross each other's boundaries. I mean, we had bad moments, we all do, right, in a home and family environment. But in my family, we kind of, I don't know, we were more empathetic towards one another, and we had unwritten rules in the house which we couldn't cross. They were not written, they were not known, but we kind of subconsciously knew how we should behave in the house. And if somebody departed from that behavior, literally my entire family put them back in. It's like, no, this is how it should be. You know what I mean? So this is something Neptune in the fourth house people experience. You may have unwritten rules in your household, and you guys are so also connected to your family. Sometimes these people, the danger actually with this placement is that these people do not form their own separate identity from the family until they're adults. And that was the case for me. Only like at the age of 24, 25, I started to develop my own identity outside of my family, because I realized that I don't even know who I am without my mom, without my sisters, without my siblings. So this is something to be aware of with this placement. These people may struggle with finding their own identity, and you guys may be so connected to your parents and siblings, and they might influence you throughout your life a lot, in how to behave, in what to be, what career choice to have, and stuff like that. And with this placement is imperative to develop your own identity, because this was the case for me. And ever since I developed my own identity, my entire life shifted. However, with this placement, people are very proud of the environment and traditions they were born in. Okay, so like they value it. They might depart from it, but they will still value it, because as if they have this karmic obligation to honor their parents and ancestors for the fact that they even gave them life, so it's Neptunian karmic placement, right, which shows appreciation for ancestors. Another thing with this placement, people may have had a family member whom like they are ashamed of, and they try not to talk about a lot in a public eye, like skeletons in the closet in a family. It might be like a parental figure who is alcoholic and people are ashamed of it, or a drug addict, one of the family members, or schizophrenic, one of the family members. This is my placement, and I do have one family member, my grandma, whom I've never met. She was diagnosed with schizophrenia in the 70s. She was a writer, she was a poet, she was a creative person just like me. She was a Gemini. Well, no, Geminis are crazy. She was very expressive about her opinions and beliefs. And we know that Geminis, they believe in something and they will fight for this cause, right? But it's very subjective when it comes to Geminis. And she fought for our country. She was not schizophrenic. She just wanted our country to gain independence from Russian Communist Party. But at a time, in my country, I'm from Turkmenistan, and they were, Communist Party was ruling every single republic that was a part of Soviet Russia, and nobody could rebel against them. And when my grandma did, she wrote articles about it on the newspaper, national. She just kept going, and my dad would tell her, like, stop doing that, but she went for it. She didn't listen to anybody. And then she was placed in a mental hospital for the next 12 years, where she was diagnosed with schizophrenia, but in reality she did not have that. Obviously, this is something I used to be ashamed of. Actually, my parents used to hide that from us. Not hide, but like they didn't want to talk about it a lot. But the older I got, the more I wanted to uncover that part of our, family history. And yeah, it brought a lot of shame. It brought a lot of tears. It brought a lot of empathy. It brought a lot of those emotions. And she died in the mental hospital. They did not let her get out because she was rebellious. She rebelled against the Communist Party. She was politically involved. And because of, she believed in that so much, she even gave her life to this. She died there after 12 years, and she was in a mental hospital for 12 years. So why am I saying all this? I shouldn't even say all that, but you might have, with this placement, you might have somebody in your family who you're ashamed of, or you may not even be aware of them, but because your parents are hiding it from you, or maybe you already became aware of it and became ashamed of it. So this is something not to be ashamed of, but be actually honor your ancestors. Also, with this placement, a parental figure, especially father, was either absent from your life, or you were adopted and you didn't know that your father wasn't real father. So your mom had you with one person, but then she separated from that individual and started living with somebody else who was presented to you as your father. So this is a possible scenario to have with Neptune in the 4th. These people also may, like I said in the beginning, they may be drawn unconsciously to their childhood, okay? And they may be drawn, and they may remember those days with their family as the most happiest days. And now they may be depressed because of that, because they can't recreate that, okay? So this is something to be aware. And these people are striving to create this cozy environment, and they have to be selective with the environment they live in, because they need to recreate that environment from their childhood, which is warmth and empathy. They need to recreate that dynamic, that energy in the environment they live in when they're adults. Otherwise, they'll be constantly looking back or yearning to have those experiences they had in the childhood, but not be able to actually implement it. This placement, father may have been either absent, or your father may have been related to some type of public. He was in public. His profession was related to public. He was recognized and getting love from other people and supporting other people and doing great work. And sometimes he may have been not with you, there for you emotionally. And this person, when you were a kid, your father was seen as a figure that is just like the greatest father in your eyes and in your family, or the best masculine figure, in your family. Actually, it's seen by all of your family members like this. But this person, when they grow up and start to, see objectively and analyze their father objectively, they may realize that, damn, there's a lot of flaws in my dad I overlooked when I was a kid, With this placement also, because Neptune is dissolving, right? It has a dissolving nature with the environment. This placement may show us that a family dynamic was incredible, you enjoyed it as a kid, but the older, like at some point something happened in your family and this dynamic was ruined. So for instance, maybe one of your family members passed away, they got arrested, or something happened where that dynamic was broken. And with Neptune in the fourth, these people, that family, may have taken quite a lot of time, quite a minute to restore and create a new structure in their home and family. This is the case for me. This is my placement. My dad passed away when I was 13, yeah. And it was never the same after that. We had to restructure the entire order in a family, because like dad was setting rules and, looking after us and providing for us, because I'm from a place where men provide. I know in the Western world it is a little bit mixed up, but where I'm from, dad was working, mom was not working, and it was 5 of us, and dad provided everything for us. My mom was a housewife. But when my dad passed, all of that dynamic changed, right? So my sisters needed to go to work and to support and provide for us. So that's why I learned how to be strong on my own without a man. Really, like, this is something that experience from my childhood taught me this. So you might experience something like that too, where the dynamic was ruined, where you had to, as a family, restructure the entire dynamic, So this is very possible. And then also these people may have a home where they welcome people for spiritual practices, like meditations, yoga. And actually from this placement, we can also look at how a person will depart from life. So with this placement, the way a person starts their early life is the same way they are going to leave this earth. So for example, Neptune in the fourth, from my personal experience, my childhood, I started childhood with a Bible. Nobody will believe it. Okay. I started my childhood with a Bible. My mom is a Christian. She's a Jehovah's Witness. And she gave me that Bible, mini version of it for the kids. And I was 5 and I was already able to read, actually. I was smart, 5 or 6. And that is like the earliest experience I remember of me feeling godly states. I was by the sea, by the way. We went for a vacation, and I read it. I felt so good. That's like, this is the start of my life, conscious life, I would say. Because, we don't remember things prior to like 5 years old. So for instance, we don't remember anything that happened to us before 5. We only start to remember after 5 or after 6 or 7. For me, it was 5, 6. So that the earliest experience that I remember was me reading a Bible for the kids. And I just loved it. I got lost in my imagination. And this can show me also how I'm gonna depart from life. So that means that I'm departing very spiritually. So with this placement, you might have a very non-resistant departure from life, where, some people, when they depart from life, they resist it. Like, some people get cancers, God forbid, just really, really unfortunate. My sister had a cancer. She was resisting and she passed away last year. So with this placement, if a person gets cancer, or they get some type of disease, or they get old, whatever, and they depart from life, they will not be resisting it. They will accept it, and they will actually, depart very calmly and as if they already done everything, because some people, when they depart from life, they feel like they did not live enough. But with this placement, people know I've done everything I could, everything is enough, everything is perfect, so this is my time to go. Alrighty guys, I love this placement personally because it's my placement. Yeah, I hope you liked my interpretation. If it resonated with you, please leave your comments in the section below. If it didn't, please let me know how it's playing out in your life. That would be great to hear. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.